Welcome to Homeschool Nolan, here to help you navigate learning in the digital age. There's been a lot of anxiety lately about how AI is going to replace a lot of jobs. But today, I'd like to talk about one type of job which I believe will never be replaced by AI. A friend of mine recently sent me this column by Joel Kotkin and Marshall Toplansky titled, "Blue-Collar Workers Are Our Only Hope. Automation Will Turn Us All into Serfs." I know, the title sounds a little pessimistic, but what caught my attention was one sentence where they write this. Quote, "If, for instance, a job is highly formulaic and has few discretionary decisions and people perform their tasks with little social interaction, AI is likely to displace it. So, while the CEO of an insurance company might be safe from being displaced by AI, one of his analysts is not." So there's one job that should be safe from AI, and that's the job of CEO. And why is that? It's because CEOs are hired to make important decisions at their own discretion. CEOs make decisions like who to hire, who to fire or lay off, which product they should invest in, and how to allocate the budget. Yes, CEOs can analyze data and use computers to help them make their decision, but it is the CEO, not some AI bot, that will be held accountable by the board of directors and their investors. But CEO isn't the only kind of job out there that has to make important decisions. Doctors also have to make important decisions, and sometimes they are life and death decisions. Yes, doctors too can use computers and AI to help them diagnose and recommend treatment. But like the CEO, it is the doctor and not a computer that must be held accountable for patient treatment and outcomes. You know, there's been a lot of talk lately about how radiologists may soon be replaced by AI because AI can now analyze medical images and x-rays better than humans can to diagnose injuries and diseases. But as my good friend who is a doctor explained to me, patients will always need a person to hold accountable. If you are diagnosed with a serious disease, you want to discuss it with a human, not a computer, about treatment. And God forbid, if the diagnosis is wrong, patients, of course, will want to hold a human doctor accountable. Yes, doctors can use AI and computers to help them make the diagnosis, but because someone always needs to be held accountable for important diagnoses and decisions, there will always be a job for human doctors. Now, you may have noticed that CEOs and doctors are higher level jobs that usually require years of experience, wisdom, and training before you can actually be hired into these roles. They aren't exactly entry-level positions. But most young people need entry-level jobs in order to start their career paths. And unfortunately, it's the entry-level jobs that are repetitive and don't require you to make many important decisions that are most likely to be replaced by AI. So, what are young people to do now to launch their careers? Well, as a father of three, this is a question that I myself have been pondering lately. At the very least, it's important that in addition to teaching them academic basics like reading, writing, and arithmetic, kids these days also need practice and training on how to make decisions, not only for themselves, but for others. It's tempting sometimes as parents to want to make almost every consequential decision on behalf of our kids. But as they get older, it's important that they start learning how to make decisions to prepare themselves for adulthood. Now, the art and science of decision making isn't typically a subject taught in school. But Peter Drucker, who is one of the most famous business consultants of the 20th century, once wrote a book called The Effective Executive, which includes a chapter titled Effective Decisions. Here's what he wrote at the beginning of the chapter. Quote, "A decision is a judgment. It is a choice between alternatives. It is rarely a choice between right and wrong. It is at best a choice between almost right and probably wrong, but much more often a choice between two courses of action, neither of which is provably more nearly right than the other." Now, this book was written over 50 years ago, but Drucker also asked the question, whether computers can replace human decision making. Here's what he writes. Does all this apply today when we have the computer? The computer, we're being told, will replace the decision maker, at least in middle management. It will make, in a few years, all the operating decisions, and fairly soon after, it will take over strategic decisions too. He then continues, the computer is a potent tool of the executive, like a hammer or pliers, but unlike wheel or saw, it cannot do anything man cannot do. But it can do one human job, addition and subtraction, infinitely faster than man can do it. And being a tool, it does not get bored, does not get tired, does not charge overtime. Like all tools that do better something man can do, the computer multiplies man's capacity. Now, computers have obviously become much more powerful with AI since Drucker wrote this. But even back then, Drucker had the insight about how humans are fundamentally different from computers. Here's what he writes. The human being can adapt. That is, he can infer from scanty information or from no information at all what the total picture might be like. He can remember a great many things nobody has programmed. So remember, AI systems are only as good as the algorithms and the data they are trained on. That's why humans who can adapt and infer from little or no information will never be replaced by AI. Not every child will grow up and become a CEO or doctor, but there are still many jobs out there that do require you to make important decisions every day. Jobs like firefighter and policemen, teachers and coaches, plumbers and electricians, just to name a few. And I hope this video has helped you gain a greater appreciation of how hard and important it is to make good decisions, and perhaps set you on the path to gaining the knowledge and experience you need to get hired someday to make effective decisions. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to click subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.